For me, the most appealing element of tower defense games is the way that they incorporate a layer of strategy into what would typically be seen as a glorified horde mode. In recent years, a handful of notable tower defense titles have really honed in on what makes their genre wholly unique by implementing robust defense systems that promote creativity. One such notable series is Orcs Must Die, which has really become a pinnacle of the tower defense genre over the years, alongside games like Plants vs. Zombies and Dungeon Defenders. Now, a few weeks ago when Robot Entertainment asked me to do a video showcasing their newly launched Orcs Must Die Unchained, I knew it was something that I'd like to show to all of you here on my channel, because not only is it something kind of in the same wheelhouse as the games that we already enjoy here, I've already gotten to experience some of the game firsthand as well, and I feel like it's something that a lot of you would like. Orcs Must Die Unchained is a free-to-play tower defense multiplayer action game, wow that is a mouthful, and it just launched for PS4 and PC, and it's the third installment to the Orcs Must Die series. Now, to bring you up to speed if you're not familiar with this series, the Orcs Must Die games take place in this rather comical fantasy world where you play as a hero who has to fend off hordes of dopey orcs who are trying to overrun your castle. Sounds a little familiar, right? Now, to help stave off these oafish opponents, you have a whole arsenal of unique traps, contraptions, and barricades that can be placed anywhere from the ceiling to the floor, ready to smash, slice, and dice any orc foolish enough to step in its way. Not to mention, of course, your hero comes equipped with a unique set of abilities as well, offering a variety of ways that you can play the game and slay these bumbling green enemies to your liking. This whole concept of fighting off orcs has generally remained the same throughout the series and has carried over to the third installment. Your overall goal in Unchained is to try and prevent the orcs from entering your rift portal, and successfully doing so will reward you with loot boxes filled with traps, skulls, and other in-game goodies. You defend your rift mainly by strategically placing traps throughout the map with up to 2 other players, limited mostly by the cost of the traps themselves and the amount of credits that you earn in each battle. Traps and pretty much everything else in the game come in the form of cards that you use to build a specific loadout of items that you can take with you into each battle, and you can customize these loadouts for the type of hero that you're using as well. Traps can also be upgraded to maximize their potential and keep your rift safe from intruders. In Unchained, traps are bloodier and more gruesome this time around, and the orcs have organized into a sort of anxiety-inducing militia. There's also a wider selection of heroes to choose from, each of which have their own variety of abilities to suit whatever your playstyle may be. Now, speaking of traps, not only are there a ton of traps for frying orcs to a crisp or chopping them into an orc salad, you've also got barricades that can carve out a path for the orc army to follow, which usually leads them into a kill box of death if you've set up your traps properly. There's also a decent selection of guardians, which are exactly what they sound like. They're these huge armored guards who provide extra support when your traps just aren't cutting it. Now, when the second Orcs Must Die game came along, the only real difference was the addition of co-op, which seems like a natural progression since holding off a horde of orcs is always going to be more fun when you're doing it with a friend than by yourself, and Orcs Must Die Unchained has taken the co-op concept of its predecessor and kicked it up a notch by offering 3-player team survival as well as a new take on PvP with their new Sabotage game mode. Sabotage is actually a pretty interesting concept. It takes 2 teams of 3 heroes and they face off against each other on separate instances of the same battlegrounds, and the team with the most rift points at the end of the battle wins. Now, the reason it's called Sabotage is because you can attempt to disrupt the enemy team in real time by sending in additional minions and bosses, or by casting spells on specific players. I'd recommend unlocking some decent Sabotage consumables first and having a few battles under your belt before diving headfirst into Sabotage, but if luck is on your side and you're playing with some decent players, then you might come out on top in this new game mode anyway. Now, way back in the closed beta for Orcs Must Die Unchained when I first experienced the game, they actually had a different PvP mode called Siege, which was basically this interesting hybrid of tower defense strategy mixed with MOBA mechanics, but in the last year or so, after extensive feedback from beta players, Robot decided to pull Siege and replace it with Sabotage instead. Having played Siege during the beta myself, I will say that I'm a bit sad to see it go, since I thought adding lane-based gameplay was quite an innovative way to approach a tower defense game, but ultimately I understand how hard it can be to balance characters with player progression and skill, plus it's particularly hard to compete with all the MOBA-like games that have flooded the gaming scene lately. I would love to see Siege make a comeback one of these days, especially because Robot spent so much time working on it, but for now I think Sabotage is a great alternative for players who still want to get their competitive PvP fix from Unchained. Alright you guys, Orcs Must Die Unchained is out now for PlayStation 4 and PC, and it's free to play, so I definitely recommend that you give it a try, especially if you're even remotely interested in tower defense games. I've left a link down below in the description for you to go check out their website and download the game as well if you play on PC, and please let me know what you think of Unchained in the comments if you've played it yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys at the next video.